Simulan natin doon sa implications nitong hindi pagsipot ng Vice President o ng kanyang legal team dito sa impeachment hearings. No? Ano ba epekto nun? Kasi naglabas ang pahayag yung Vice President, tapos hindi sumipot yung defense team, pero nagpa-press con pagkatapos.
Well, wala yung masyadong epekto sa totoo lang kasi the impeachment will proceed irrespective of how the Vice President and her panel will actually treat the impeachment proceeding. No? So, ang sabi nila in the press con and in their letter that the House proceedings, which they call confusingly as a mini trial, wala akong batayan yun. Kasi nga, like what we had previously stated, this is a hearing in the sense of the 1987 Constitution, in the sense of the impeachment rules of Congress. Well, again, there's nothing stopping the impeachment proceeding in House Justice Committee from proceeding today and up until the very end of all the proceedings. No? So, nagsabi naman ho yung kampo niya, Pangalawang Pangulo, sabi niya, this is unconstitutional. We are conducting a trial. Pero malinaw po yung impeachment rules ng Congress, pati po yung 1987 Constitution referring to a hearing. This is the hearing that we are conducting today, that we conducted today and in the next time, no, under the definition in the Constitution and the impeachment rules, no, of Congress, no. So alam po talaga yan. This is evading accountability yet again for the second straight year.
You mentioned yung niraise nilang issue ng mini trial. No? And I think some of your colleagues also mentioned that earlier sa hearing. Pero I got the impression na, eto, linawin natin. No? Sino bang gumamit ng term na mini trial? Kasi ang impression ko po ay ginamit lang yan sa mga media reports, sa mga headlines. But that was not necessarily the formal title referring to the hearings.
Yeah, totoo po, this is being used by political analysts. This is being used, well, this was used by House members, no, to refer to the proceeding at what that we have at the moment. Pero this is basically just to make a distinction between what we have today and yung pong full-blown trial in the Senate. No? So ibig sabihin, this is not, this is really more for the public's benefit. No? So we never change anything. There's nothing in the rules which refer to a mini trial. But as far as the committee members are concerned, whether it's a mini trial, it is still within the definition in the Constitution and in our rules that this is a hearing within that context.
Okay. Isa-isahin natin, no? Yung mga pinag-utos kanina. So may mga sinabi na mga dokumento at saka mga tao na dapat mag-appear. No? Pag-usapan natin yung relevance ng gustong makita ng mga miyembro ng komite o isumite sa kanila. For instance, magsimula muna tayo sa SALN. Okay? Bakit nyo kailangan makuha officially yung kanyang mga statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth during specific years, kunwari 2007 to 2013.
Well, dito po talaga makikita yung paglobo ng kayamanan, no, ni Vice President Sara Duterte from 2007 to 2024. At dito natin na makikita yung paglobo from 7 million to 88 million. And pagka kasi binangga natin doon sa supposed cumulative salary of the Vice President, papatak lang po yun ng 30 to 40 million over the course of 17 years. So there is a wealth gap that needs to be explained, which is around 50 million. Gap from yung pong 30 to 40 million na salary at yung pong 88 million na net worth as stated in the 2024 SALN. So we would want to know saan po iluluwal yung pong karagdagan na 50 milyon na gap. Ito po ay pwedeng iluwal mula doon sa iba pong mga negosyo at professional income ng ating pong Pangalawang Pangulo at ng kanyang pong asawa. Kaya nga ho, relevant din po yung pagsabpina ng tax records ng mag-asawa at ng kanila pong mga kumpanya at yung pong mismo tax records, SEC records at financial records, financial statements ng mga kumpanya din po na nailista sa 2024 SALN.
Okay, clarify ka na, no? Kasi nakita ko may mga nagtatanong dito. Porke ba merong nakitang paglobo, paglaki dun sa sali ng isang impeachable officer or official katulad ni Vice President Sara Duterte, is that in itself suspicious and could be a ground for impeachment?
Pagka po malayong-malayo doon po sa kinikita, sahod ng isa pong public official. So like what you had stated, cumulative salary niya would be just around 30 to 40 million. Pagka ho, sobrang layo po ng pagkakaiba, there is a prima facie a presumption na ito po ay unexplained wealth. So, syempre, on the other hand, pagka naman ho maipakita ni Vice President Duterte from the tax records and from the financial statements of the corporation and the law firm na meron po silang gross revenues of 200 million to 400 million, basically pwede ho magluwal yan nung pong 50 million na net worth over the course of 17 years.
Okay. Of course, isa sa mga binabatong issue sa inyo ng Vice President at ang kanyang mga taga-suporta, binanggit din ng isa sa mga kasama ninyo sa komite kanina, fishing expedition daw ito. Ang tanong ko, Congressman, how do you distinguish between fishing expedition and exercising the powers of the House Justice Committee to look into these documents or these details?
Well, una ho sa lahat, fishing expedition ho yan kung you have not yet located where the fish are. But as far as we're concerned, we have ideas where the fish are. Hindi ba? So it cannot be stated as a fishing expedition. And more importantly, yung pong mga dokumento naman ho does not exist in a vacuum. So for example, the 2024 SALN exists. So each and every document related to that SALN, which would be tax records, corporate records, for VAT payments, at iba pang mga related SALN documents going back to 2007. Yan po yung mga bahagi nung pong pagbibigay patunay dito po sa 2024 SALN at sa mga observations relating to unexplained wealth. So, you can only call it as a fishing expedition if you have nothing. But as far as we're concerned, we had started from something. Di ba? May mga actual na document, not just on SALN. But for example, in confidential funds, you have COA reports that actually exist and which are the documents that we are subjecting to a subpoena in the next couple of days.
Yung meron din kayong pinapasubpoena na mga impormasyon na dokumento galing sa ilang law firms ba? So I think napag-usapan yan kanina, And one of the arguments was that delikado yata yun. Ano po bang rationale behind that? Bakit kailangan nyo makuha yung mga ganun dokumento?
Well, una sa lahat, wala akong binabasag na lawyer-client confidentiality. Pagka ho sinampina po yung financial records, kasi hindi naman ho tinatanong kung ano yung pinag-usapan with the client, hindi rin ho tinatanong kung sino ho yung mga kliyente. That is absolute confidentiality. Ang pinag-usapan lang ho dito, the financial statement submissions made by the Carpio Law Firm, Duterte Carpio Firm, to the SEC, assuming that is actually a registered entity in the SEC. So, wala akong batayan yung sinasabi ho na mga kasama ho natin na that is in violation of client confidentiality. Dahil ang numero ho ang pinag-usapan dito. Hindi ho natin pinag-usapan dito ano yung pinag-usapan ng mga kliyente at sino po yung mga kliyente.
So ito ay ginagawa ninyo kaugnay doon sa SALN na gusto nyong hinga ng paliwanag. Yung
Tama, and to be very clear, as far as the Duterte supporters are concerned, yan ho yung lagi ho nilang pinapaliwanag, hindi po ba? Na kaya ho lumobo to 88 million ang kanila pong kayamanan dahil po magaling na abogado yung pong mag-asawang Duterte Carpio. Isa ho yan dun sa mga pillars ng kanila pong paliwanag. Pangalawa, pillar ng kanilang paliwanag, bakit umabot to 88 million? Dahil meron ho silang malalakas na mga negosyo. So meron ho silang ice plant at iba pa. So ibabangga ho natin yung mga financial statements ng mga kumpanya po na ito. Kung totoo ba na malaki ho talaga ang kinita nila over the course of 17 years. And like what we had stated, I think the requirement of revenue, whether it's a law firm combined with all of the businesses, would be around 200 to 400 million. Anything less than that, hindi ho yan mag-aabot-abot doon po sa 50 million wealth gap to 88 million from the cumulative salary.
Okay. So in short, dapat the math should math. The math is not mathing.
Tama ho yun. So, ano ho yan It's basically financial forensics lang naman po. And totoo naman if in the event that we see that the FS of the law firm and of the companies that they own or that they have shares in, mag-aabot-abot po dun sa malaki pala yung kita, billion pala yung kita, And there is nothing to explain because it would basically be explainable wealth, no? So salary plus other lawful income.
Yung bank accounts na di umano'y meron yung Vice President kung saan meron pumasok na limpak-limpak na mga salapi. Kailan yung ipapasabbi na yan?
I think that will be made in due time, no? Hindi lang ho ito ginawa po ngayong araw na ito. Siyempre, marami na rin hong mga dokumentong pinasabbi na. I think naman ho, even without talking about the bank records, pagka ho maipakita naman ho na explainable or unexplainable, ito pong wealth based on the ITR submissions and SEC financial statement submissions, even if we don't subpoena the bank documents, sa totoo lang, we can make the case already of silent violations and unexplained wealth.
Pero importante pa rin yung bank accounts, diba? Kasi kung hindi reflect sa salary, yung halagang binibintang sa kanya, for instance, ng mga accusers niya, then laking issue nun.
Hindi natin ho binabaliwala yung pong bank accounts, no? I think inuuna lang mo natin yung pong mga dokumento which are available and existing in government offices, no? Kasi magkaiba ho yun eh. Yung bank accounts ho kasi ang kausap na doon, mga bangko mismo at yung pong anti-money laundering council, no? So, I think unahin muna natin ito pong mga dokumento na pwede hong makuha mula po sa mga opisina po ng gobyerno.
Okay. Itong bagong personalidad, itong bagong witness na lumabas, no? Itong pagkakaiba doon sa previous impeachment complaints against the Vice President. Itong si Ramil Madriaga. So, pinasabpinan nyo na rin, no? So, kailan siya haharap?
Well, expectation natin sa 14th of April, magpapakita na ho siya sa komite. Kasi if the subpoena will be issued after the hearing, dapat sa next hearing po ay masecure na ho namin yung attendance po niya sa April 14th.
When we talk about helping secure Ramil Madriaga, ano exactly ibig sabihin dito? Diba magbibigay ng additional protection yung house?
Tama po yun. Protected custody po yung minove kanina at in-accept. Ibig sabihin nun, I think we will coordinate with law enforcement, NBI, kung ano ho yung mga pwede pa hong pagpapalakas ng seguridad para kay Mr. Madriaga. Mahalaga po yun kasi hindi lang ho house custody naman yung mahalaga eh. I think even today, even without house custody yet, dapat masecure po talaga si Mr. Madriaga.
Pero kasama ba sa options yung i-transfer yung custody niya from BJMP sa inyo?
Kasama ko yun sa mga pwede kong gawin. I think that has not yet been disposed with today. But also very important din po kasi to consult with Mr. Madriaga himself kung ano ho ba yung tipo ng protection na gusto niya. Does he want to stay in BJMP jurisdiction or does he actually want to stay in the house during the course of the proceedings?
Okay. Nung huli ko nakausap yung kanyang abogado, sinasabi niya na he sounded very, very sure, citing his client na lahat ng kanyang binibintang dun sa kanyang affidavit laban dito sa Vice President, mako-confirm daw yun basta buksan lang yung 3 cellphones na meron siya. Anong plano niyo rito dun sa 3 cellphones na yun?
Well, if it's something that can actually be opened and looked into, particularly through digital forensics, pwede ko natin buksan yun. No? So, syempre, kung talagang relevant po ito doon sa, for example, conversations between himself and his handler, supposedly, na andun po sa Office of the Vice President or implementing the use of confidential funds, we will seek to open all of these phones.